Assalamualaikum class, I hope you all are doing fine. So in this video, we are just going to discuss quickly about the class diagram. So first of all, just to remember that this was our scenario. We have discussed this scenario in detail in another video. You can just watch it. So if we just look at that scenario and as we have read it very nicely, we understand that there are certain entities which we can simply identify. So here is the identification of entities, or you can say the objects or whatever. So right now I just write down that there is the entity teachers, students, admin. Okay, system is not an entity. After that, whatever we are going to be dealing with, like for example, we have tests, then in tests, we have other options. Apart from that, we are going to make result. There's going to be something like date, like the admin is going to talk about the date. So if we talk about test, we have certain types of test. Every type will actually have a separate class for it. Similarly, we will have a class for dates. Just to remember that for what information or for what kind of information you would want to make a class, that you want to keep it separate, you want to write down the data for it, or you can do another thing. You can just think about it that for what things you would like to make database tables. So in that way we can identify a few classes. Now for each class, because inside this scenario it's not mentioned that what kind of information you need, but there is a standard information which we need for every thing. We can say every object. We can say, like for example, if it's a teacher and it gets registration, so you clearly understand that we will need some attributes. You have to identify the attributes and you have to identify the functions which the teacher is performing. Now, because these things are not exactly mentioned, functions are somehow mentioned, like teacher can make the test, or teacher can get registered, or teacher can save the answers. So you are going to just write down these functions, whatever functions are mentioned. For attributes, because nothing is mentioned, so you can actually understand that whenever the registration is being done, there's always a username, there is always a proper name as well. Name can be public, and similarly there must be some ID, there must be some subject. So you're just going to write down the name of the things, and then you're going to put plus or minus in on the back, just to let us know that if the thing is public or private. And then whatever is going to be the size, or whatever is going to be the type, like let's say username can be 10 long as 10, this could be character and it could have 20. Subject is obviously you're going to choose from there, like the drop down list, so you can just say that subject can have 20 letters or whatever you say. The same goes for ID. I just skipped it. So this is how you're just going to write down all the things about all of your classes, whatever data you think is correct. Now here I'm not going to write down all the details of the data, because it's on your part that how you understand the scenario and how you're going to write down the required information, the required attributes or required functions for each of the class. So what you're going to do is, after that you are just going to make all the classes separately. Like you're gonna make admin class, it should be exactly like how the admin class looks like for example like this. You're going to make the admin class, write down all the details in both folders, in both portions, make all the admin classes, admin class, teacher class, student class, like all the required classes. Once you are done with the classes, after that you are going to show their relationship. So I have shown the relationship. I have made this diagram already in it's made in visual paradigm. So in visual paradigm there was no option for another line in the center of them, but I actually told you that you are going to draw another line in the center of it as well, which is a class representation. So this is how these things are working. The admin approves the profiles of the student, admin approves the teacher. This is the association between them, because they are not getting inherited, they are not having any composite or association structure. That is why I'm using simple association. There is no composite or aggregation, so I'm using simple association. So whenever you use a simple association, you're going to write down what is doing, what one thing is doing with the other one. So now you can see that this one has a composite structure, because if we delete the admin, the dates are going to be deleted. Well, this is still a confused part. You can do it, or either you can make it just simple. But yes, there I can show you that teacher can create the tests and tests. Now MCQs, blanks, true, false, and column matching are inherited from the basic test class, because obviously some things are going to be same for all the test, and rest of the things are going to be changed. Then the subject has a composite structure with test, because if you delete the subject, any subject, all the tests related to that subject are going to be deleted, because now you no more offer that subject. Similarly, the result uses the test data, because the teacher has, when the teacher creates the test, the teacher also saves the answer. So that is why the result is going to use the answers from this and create the result. Student is going to view the result, and this is how this whole class diagram is gonna look like. This is a generalization of the class diagram. You can look into it, you can try to understand it. Apart from that, we have something like multiplicity. So you can just see that admin is one admin can approve as many teachers as they want. It's like a star. Similarly, the student, as many students he wants, that's going to be one with static, like multiplicity, as many as we want. One student can select a lots of subject. But if you want to give some limit, like one student can select from one to like maybe five subjects at a time, so you can write it down. So one student can maybe select one to five subjects. Similarly, one subject can be selected by one student or many students, as many students as possible. So that's, I'm going to put the star here. Similarly, one subject can have as many tests as possible. Like one subject can have so many tests. So we don't have any limitation for that. So maybe वन एक सब्जेक्ट के हम लोग बहुत से टेस्ट बना दे. If you want to give a limitation, good. If you don't want to give a limitation, still good, because there is no limitation given in the case study. You have to just understand one thing, that you are just required to depict what is required in the case study. Nothing else. आपको लगता है कि कुछ करना चाहिए, नहीं, वो आपको ज़रूरत नहीं है आपको बताने की, मतलब उसको इन्हांस करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. आपने सिर्फ उसको रीड करके उसको बताना है. आपसे ये नहीं कहा जा रहा कि यू इम्प्रूव द प्रोजेक्ट, यू टेल मोर थिंग्स अबाउट द प्रोजेक्ट, यू नो जगल योर माइंड एंड कम अप विद मोर सॉल्यूशंस. सो यहाँ पे भी हमारे पास कोई क्लैरिटी नहीं है कि एक सब्जेक्ट के कितने टेस्ट हो सकते हैं. तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि वन सब्जेक्ट कैन हैव एज मेनी टेस्ट एज पॉसिबल, बट वन टेस्ट कैन बी ओनली रिलेटेड टू वन सब्जेक्ट. एक सब्जेक्ट का एक टेस्ट हो सकता है. Similarly, one teacher can create more tests if they want. Still, there is no clear thing about it. So we can just say, but one test can be only created by one teacher. अब यहाँ पे भी हम मल्टीप्लाई का साइन लगा सकते हैं कि एक टीचर काफ़ी सारे सब्जेक्ट्स जो है वो टेस्ट जो है वो बना सकता है. Another association I just missed is कि teacher must have an association with subject as well. That one teacher can actually select maybe more subjects, but one subject can also have more teachers. So ये हमारे पास multiply का sign होगा. So this is how your class diagram is going to look like. I hope you understand it, and whatever class diagrams you are making are going to be correct. I cannot check everyone's class diagram if you are sending me. I just want you to understand that it should be a general behavior. It could be different for everyone. So a lots of students are sending me the class diagrams. So I'm very, very sorry. I don't have much time to look into everyone's concept right now. It's just like checking your papers all over again. So yeah, I will just check your diagrams in the paper, whatever diagrams come. Another thing I make you clear, it's not like that I'm going to give use case or class diagram only. You have a package diagram and DFD as well. So please do practice them as well. Thank you so much.